today's agenda. You have today's agenda, and we also have the agenda for the November 22nd meeting on the back page of today's agenda. We'll go through that briefly, but let's call it to order. And we always begin our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. Very good. Next, we will have the approval of the November 22nd meeting. We did not meet in December and January. If you can look on the back part of your today's agenda, you will see the agenda from the November 22nd agenda. And I'll be quite honest with you, it's one of my favorite agendas. Because on that day, we got a chance to discuss the special elections in Virginia, in New Hampshire, in New Jersey, and also in Pennsylvania, where Democrats, particularly in Virginia, won every race in that state. And we also recognize that in New Jersey, big winners also. What was significant about each of those races, all of those races, because in Virginia, now we have a Democrat as governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and controlling the state house as well. But what was interesting about all of those races, whether New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Virginia, the margin of victory, Democrats were outperforming Republicans 58-42, winning by at least 12 points. And we haven't seen anything like that in a long time. So this was so overwhelming to me that I ended up going to Maryland and Virginia. I have a nephew who is in Fredericksburg, and I told my wife, we drove up to Maryland, and I told her we need to go to Virginia because I need to speak to people in Virginia. It's wonderful, the direction they have, and giving us hope that we can turn this elephant around, and that's what we need to do. And we're going to work very diligently to that. But as you all look at that agenda, if there are any questions or amendments we need to make to that, let me know. But can I get a motion to approve? I get a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The agenda for November 22nd is approved. We also need the approval of today's agenda, and it's one that I'm very much looking forward to. We have a special guest who's going to be with us today, Emily Taylor, who's one of my colleagues at PC, and I shouldn't say this, one of my favorite colleagues at PC. We worked on a major piece of legislation at the college before I retired in 2021, and she had a great deal of input on moving forward together at PC as we address some of the issues surrounding diversity and inclusion at PC, and so I'm very grateful for that. So can I get a motion to approve today's agenda?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in those in favor?
Aye.
Motion has been approved, and we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Our treasurer is not here today, but he's a very conscientious person. He did leave with us our financial statement. And at this particular time, on February 27th, we have $6,246 in our account. And we will be utilizing some of that money as we prepare for our county convention on March 14th. I hope that all of you all will be able to attend that convention. To me, it's very important. We don't get a chance to protest a lot. I appreciate my colleagues. We've had a couple of protests, but we don't get a chance to protest enough here in this county. To me, it's very important for everyone. You need to share this with your friends and relatives. The biggest protest we can have if we can go into the Fairgrounds Center and have at least 150 Democrats show up for that particular convention. It will say something to Lawrence County. And I'm hoping we can go beyond that. And all of you, it's March 14th. We're not going to keep you long. It's 10 o'clock in the morning to 12 noon. We have the president of the South Carolina Democratic Party who will be speaking. And as you look at your agenda today, her name is on the agenda, Crystal Spain, who is extremely capable and a very good speaker. But we also will have speaking Mashana Tate, who's an attorney who moved here from Greenville. She lives here in Lawrence now. And she has decided that she will run against Luke Rankin in
Yeah.
Very personally invested.
So all of you all need to come out and we need to assist her. And I've been writing. I was just so pleased that we have someone to challenge the Republicans in the 3rd Congressional District seat of the U.S. House of Representatives.
Yes.
Eunice Limeker will do that. She and I have had a lot of discussion about that. She needs your help. We are located in the 3rd Congressional District, and we have a representative that, like many of the opposing party, are not very competent. But we would like to try to unseat Sherry Biggs in the next election, and we all should commit to doing that. And there's no reason for people not to participate in this particular election. I call this period in American history a special period. We have never seen, this is probably one of the 3rd worst tragedies for this country. I know Abraham Lincoln had to make a lot of decisions during the Civil War. And he consolidated presidential power. But Lincoln was very clear. I will consolidate presidential power. In order for us to win the war, I want to look at messages that are being sent through the Postal Service from Confederate soldiers to people in the North. So he suspended it. But Lincoln was very clear. Once this war is over, executive prerogative will end. The power will be restored back to the people. And we recognize that with this present president, there are no bounds to his actions in violation of political norms, violation of laws, threatening the Supreme Court, attacking universities. I should say extorting universities. To stay in business, give me $200 million. Never seen anything like this. Killing American citizens who are demonstrating peacefully. And I have spent part of my life, luckily, growing up as a kid during the Cold War. I always wanted to know what was communism, what was a police state, what does it look like. And I've spent a number of visits to Cuba, and I was fortunate enough to be a Fulbright scholar in the Ukraine as that country moved from communism to democratic order. It was a quasi-democracy when I was there. My students would always tell me, Professor Ingram, we are not a democracy yet. There's too much corruption, too many bribes being paid. And we recognize that in those type of societies, those things that we refer to the Bill of Rights are undermined. And we see that here in our country. Freedom of speech and freedom of conscience has come under attack. You can be penalized if you say anything negative about this administration. Judges, it doesn't matter. And if anybody saw that State of the Union speech the other night, childish,
Turn my television on.
just absolutely childish. Violation of any norms, calling your opponent crazy people, fools. I mean, and we discussed this thing, we sort of normalize it with that I got you question. Don't you think it's the first responsibility to defend the American people? I got to say, hell, he should have known that. He is not defending us. And I see the TV commentators trying to make sense of this childish speech. It's not representative of democratic ideas. It's not the America that we hope to be. We need to let America be America again. And sometimes I wake up and say, is this still America? Because I've lived in a communist country. I know that one of the things that is done, you give people a great deal of power within the military. And when I would take kids down to Cuba, I had parents that asked me one time, aren't you going to a dangerous place? No. It's dangerous in the sense it doesn't guarantee people civil liberties and civil rights. But I'll tell you one thing, you didn't see any violence in Cuba because they had police officers on every street. And I told my kids, don't stop for anybody giving you anything. I cannot get you out of a prison, a Cuban jail, if you got some type of illegal item on you. Police on every corner. People who will report to the police if they see things. I will say Havana was one of the, for a city of 2.2 million people, was one of the safest cities I've ever visited. But it was a police state. And you had to walk a line. You didn't have any shootings, you didn't have any drug deals, but you couldn't celebrate your civil liberties there. We reached a point in America where we need to emphasize civic education in this country because democracy is more than just going to vote. Democracy in its best form is guaranteeing the rights of people. Democracy in its best form is to create a national community where each and every one of us can maximize our full potential.
Amen.
And we don't do that enough. Democrats, you got to wake up. The only country in the developed world where we don't have all-day child care. We got to wake up. Universal health care. We do not have it. You got to wake up. And while I drove from Lawrence to Clinton during my final years at PC, I would see on this sign outside of McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken, we are hiring people for $8 an hour. And I said, oh my goodness, how in the world somebody can live off of $8 an hour? And sometimes my kids would come to class and talk politics and talk and be critical. Some people live in trailers here. They live in trailers because they make $8 an hour.
On the streets.
And the people cleaning your dormitory room every day are making $8 an hour. It's a lie that poor people are lazy.
Amen.
They work hard. They work hard every day. And one of the nicest things that happened while I was at PC, we had one of our janitors who had some tragedy in their family, and it was Thanksgiving. And one of my colleagues got a card for her and asked for all of us to donate money to her for her family to have a good Thanksgiving. In my one building, a snap like that, we were able to give her $250 for her family because this person is making $8 an hour. People shouldn't, it's a lot of stress when you're poor. And we don't talk about that. It's painful when you're poor. I've shared many times, my father never made more than $15,000 a year. But we had the cornerstone of the family, my mother, who was a homemaker, made sure we went to school every day, and you had to do your homework when you came home. Stern woman. I was the youngest. Some people said she was soft on me. But I obeyed. And I can say that all of his children, my mother's children, went on to college. They had to get a scholarship. I knew there wasn't much money in the house. So I've lived that. And for too long, everything has been unaffordable for a lot of people in this country. Affordability, to me, is the primary factor in this election. Not to give the Ellison family all of the media in America. We have created in this country what Lester Ward, a sociologist writing during the Gilded era in American politics, we have created a plutocracy. A government of the wealthy, by the wealthy, for the wealthy. Flip what Abraham Lincoln had to say, a government of the people, by the people, for the people. That should have been our goal, and we should remember that. But we're in a special period. No one should pass the voting booth place to register to vote. No one should miss the Lawrence County Democratic Party's convention on March 14th at 10 o'clock in the morning. We need to send a message to people here, a message across the state and a message across the nation. Show up. Perform your civic duty. Because this thing is not going to get better if we do not win the midterm elections. We need the State House, and hopefully we can win the Senate, but we need the State House. All laws originate in the House of Representatives. We need to win that. And so we need to work very hard on that. And I'm taking up time here this morning. My leadership team has nodded, but this is a moment that we can't take lightly. We need to have sharp eyes, sharp ears, and a purpose. But today we get a chance to hear from my colleague Emily Taylor and the challenges that she has faced with this move by our government against universities, putting pressure on universities. And someone told me this fellow, Charlie Kirk, is submitting a bill to have a street named in the name of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, Luke Rankin is doing
Yeah,
Well, according to the city, they have not received any applications to do that.
oh, okay. And we need to be out very loud with that. So, as we look at it, my colleague is a very distinguished writer. She was a person that I leaned on her ideas when we wrote a major policy piece for Presbyterian College. And I always thought her ideas were very interesting. And I sometimes now regret that I did not take a class under her, because she created women's studies at Presbyterian College. I think I could have used some help.
You're not alone.
All right, Emily.